Happy New Year, everyone, and welcome to Desk Jockey Fitness. Congratulations on taking the first step in your journey to better health and fitness. I hope this will be your place for inspiration, motivation, and education to help you on your fitness journey. I'm Graham Nolan, and I know a lot about being a desk jockey. I've worked at a desk for 40 years as a comic book artist, writer, and publisher. I can tell you firsthand that sitting at a desk is one of the worst things for your body. A sedentary lifestyle is a killer. The current fitness landscape is a morass of information and misinformation, unfortunately. It's easy to get confused and overwhelmed. We're going to follow the KISS principle here. We're going to keep it simple, stupid. This isn't rocket science. There are some tried and true methods that are guaranteed to yield results. As you're about to start your fitness journey, let me tell you how I got mine started and some of the mistakes I made along the way so that you won't repeat mine. I was an average kid, when I hit puberty around 13, I started to put on weight, hormone changes and all that. And 13 years old is not a good time for a young boy to get chubby, as you're starting to get into girls and all that. But I got into sports. I lettered in wrestling, and that shed all the fat off of me. As part of varsity wrestling, we were made to take what was called advanced weight training, and so that's where my love of weightlifting came about. They used some different techniques back then, which unfortunately didn't quite pan out. If I knew then what I know now, I could have been a monster with all that testosterone. But be that as it may, I got married like everybody else, had kids, and had my career going, and that takes a lot of time. There was no personal time at that point, so I was starting to get aches and pains in my joints. At this point now, I'm like 47 years old. And my kids are growing up. They're now in high school, and now I have more time. And so I decided, well, I'm going to kind of get back my health again, get my body moving, because I always liked exercise. I just didn't have the time to do it, like everybody else. That's what happens when you're a desk jockey. I went to the doctor, and because I was having hip pain, and like even crossing my legs, like watching TV, like my hip was hurting me. So he ordered x-rays, and he said, "Oh, you're starting to get some osteoarthritis in there." I'm like, "Well, screw that. I've got to get my shit together and start working out again." I did some research, and I decided, well, what's my goal? What do I want to do? I decided, well, I'm going to see if at 47, this is 2009, I was 47, if I could get a washboard abs. And so I developed a program which was very heavy into cardio and very heavy I was doing a lot of light weights and high repetition. I adopted a typical bodybuilding diet, which is a 40-40-20 split, which means that 40% of your calories come from proteins, 40% come from carbohydrates, and 20% come from fats. So it's basically a low-fat diet, which I'm not a huge fan of, because once you shed all that fat, which I did, at 47, I was getting achy. My joints were hurting, my tendons were getting from overuse, overwork, were getting inflamed, and I was weak. I got down from. I started out around 165 pounds, I think. Kind of soft, and I got down to my former wrestling weight of 148. Let's see if this is, yeah. So this is 2009. Here's where I started. I think I was 100. 165, 170 there. And then I got down here, I'm about 148, 5'9", just average height. So I achieved my goal, and this was done. I started in January of 2009, and I think this picture, oh, it's July. Okay. Yeah. So what is that? 7 months? Yeah. It took me about 6 or 7 months to get that lean, utilizing those protocols. But it didn't feel good. It wasn't sustainable. So what I did was I started working on strength training and upping my calories and going into heavy weights. And that really, really helped a lot. Because, it's one thing to have the washboard, it's fine to say you did it, but it's really not a sustainable look. All that means is that your body fat is low, and that's not necessarily an indicator of health by any means. Strength, functional mobility, all of that stuff is more important. So I went in the other direction and started doing, alternating between heavy lifting and hypertrophic exercises, which are a little bit more high repetition stuff. So let's see if I got this one here. So this is sort of my journey. Yeah, let's do this here. Okay. So this is me around 20 on the left. I think I'm around 20 years old there. Athletic, young. It's easy to be when you're young. Here I am middle-aged. In the middle picture, that's about 40, 42, 44, something like that. And the one on the right is me now. This was this past summer. So that's 60 years old there. And tanned up because I like to be outside and fish and then be in the sun. So so basically that's how I transitioned into the journey you guys are about to start. Your New Year's resolution, if you will. And that's what I did. This was the beginning of a New Year's resolution. It was January of 2009. And, people say, well, can you build muscle after you're 40 and stuff? And the answer is yes. I've been able to do it and strength as well. Up before I hurt my shoulder, I don't know, I was 55. I think 50, 53, 55, something like that. I hit my all-time bench press record. It was what they call the Spartan Club, 345 plates on each side, which is 320 pounds. And I was 170 or 175 pounds. I don't keep a lot of records on that stuff, so it's somewhere around there. But I know that the strength to weight ratio is like a 1.83, and that's close to elite. And here I am in my 50s, able to do it. It just takes dedication and consistency, and that's going to be the hallmark going forward as we discuss this stuff. Is that your consistency and your commitment. That's the word I was looking for. The 2 C's. Keep it alliterative, right? Commitment and consistency are going to be key, because those two things added up equal results. And that's what we're looking for, right? So, getting started. We've talked about the journey you're about to start. Let's avoid some mistakes. One of the biggest mistakes everyone makes when they start a New Year's fitness resolution is they jump in too gung-ho. They're all excited. This is my year. This is what I'm going to do. And, they go into it. They drop their calories down and they hit their workouts really hard. And now they're in too much of a deficit to start out. Their body isn't acclimated to lifting weights or cardio workouts and stuff like that. So they're always hungry, they're tired, and they're sore. Is it any wonder that by February 1st, the gyms are empty again and everybody's back to their old ways? It's not a recipe for success. I know nobody likes to start off slow. You want to get in there, but trust me, take it slow, particularly if you're, excuse me, if you're not an active person to begin with. And I'm assuming you're not because this is, after all, desk jockey fitness. Um, so the first thing you need to do is define your goals. What is it you want? Is it fat loss? And I don't say weight loss because those are two different things. You want to focus on fat loss. Building muscle. Is it a sport performance that you play some sport, basketball, soccer, whatever, in your spare time, volleyball, and you want to accentuate your performance? You need to figure this out first if you're going to tailor your training. And notice then I also said training and not workout, because training can be measured. It's quantifiable. A workout can be anything that has you in motion, a walk, vacuuming the house, lifting furniture around, all that could be a workout. It's not really quantifiable or measurable. It's not to say that going for walks and stuff is bad. It's, anytime you're getting your body moving and your heart rate up, that's great. And I'm all for that. But we want to try and train towards a goal. Weight training or resistance training is a must. Cardio is secondary. The problem, a lot of people, they're unfamiliar with weight training. They don't know what to do, and it scares them. Anybody can get on a treadmill and start running, and they figure that's a good way to start. But it isn't. You really need to get weight training and resistance training going. And the reason why is that when you break your muscle down with a workout, what you're doing is you're creating micro tears in the muscle fiber. And when your body is at rest, that's when it repairs itself. And that's when the muscles get bigger, they get stronger. And the more muscle fiber you have, the faster your metabolism is going to be. And so the more body fat you will burn. And you'll burn it even while you're at rest. Whereas when you're doing steady state cardio, you're only burning calories while you're doing it. After a heavy lift program, you're burning calories of 3 to 4 hours after you're done because your metabolism is working harder. So that's why it's important. The other thing about steady state cardio is that if you overdo it, you run the risk of catabolizing your muscle. That means burning your muscle, because once the glycogen is burned out of your system from the steady state cardio and it's got no more fuel, it's going to go towards the muscle and start to burn. That's why you see when you look at Olympic long distance runners, they're skinny and sickly looking. And you look at sprinters and they look like linebackers. They're thickly muscled, powerful, and I think that's the physique most people would rather have. And the same goes for women. You look at the women track stars versus the women long distance runners. Focus on compound exercises. Now, what's a compound exercise? A compound exercise is a multi-joint exercise. It utilizes multiple muscle groups as opposed to an isolation exercise. A bicep curl is an isolation exercise. A lateral shoulder lift is an isolation exercise. So the great compound exercises are squats, deadlifts, overhead press, bench press, and bent over rows. If you do those exercises, all those exercises in a week, you'll cover every muscle in the body and you'll get more bang for your buck. And that's important. You want to work smart as well as hard. one of the things that I do want to caution everybody about on compound lifts is to learn proper form. The last thing you want to do is injure yourself. And there's a lot of great programs out there and videos to show you proper form. Two of them, which I really support, are Strong Lifts 5x5 and Starting Strength, Mark Ripeto's Starting Strength program. Excellent, excellent. Both of them programs. You're lifting 3 days a week, which is great. And then you take the rest of the week off. Because why? Because resting is when the body repairs itself and builds itself. I know it seems counterintuitive, but trust me on this. I have a hard time on rest days. You know, I want to be doing something. But you have to do it. You got to force yourself. It's just as, if not more important than the workout itself, is letting your body repair itself, so you're not sore. And the nice thing about these particular strength workouts is that you're not going to failure on these. So you're not getting all that lactic acid and burn and achiness. You will probably in the beginning, but it won't be like crippling to you. So the other component is your diet. And this is where it gets complicated and confusing. You can't out-train a poor diet. But what is the proper human diet? We'll get to that later, but to get you started, here's what I'm going to suggest to you. Eliminate all sugar from your diet and all processed foods from your diet. Replace them with more protein and lots of water. Because at this point, you don't got to worry about counting calories. Let the workouts cause the deficit and focus on feeding the muscles. You can always adjust that later. You have to remember that we're running a marathon here now. It's not a sprint. And this is a lifestyle change. So you need to go slow if you want it to stick. And you don't want to burn out too quickly. So take it slow. Let the process work. And I guarantee it will. You'll feel better. You'll have more energy. You'll feel stronger. And eventually you'll start to see that body recomposition. But it's going to take time. And you just have to be patient. Commitment, consistency. Stick with that. And you'll be on your way. So our next show, we're going to focus more on the diet aspect. That's really important. I've tried a lot of them, so I can talk about them. We're all different. We're complex systems. Not everything works for everybody. So I'm going to talk about a few different styles. I spoke about that traditional 40-40-20 split. It's not a bad start, but we'll focus more on that one. Until then, I want to thank everybody for watching, and now get out there and get moving. Have a great day. Bye-bye.